Hi, this is Kimberly Reuter, your business advisor and supply chain expert, and welcome back to my podcast. And
With
welcome back. We're here with Brian, and we are back for our monthly episode of Pack It Up, Pack It In. We're about to begin. And today we are going to be talking about technology, ERP, inventory management, warehouse management technology. What do you need and when do you need it? Is the key here. So, Brian, you and I chatted about this. My experience is that I have run into more than a few companies that were shipping what I would call minimum, but implementing like these massive ERPs and like enterprise systems and completely overkill because somewhere someone told them that they needed to invest in big tech. What are your thoughts?
Let me start off with another. Let's start off with a question back to you. Is so the same thing that you just described. Did you also see like huge outperforming crazy growth businesses with no tech and no ERP?
I have.
Right? I know. So that it begs the question. There are
Right.
two incongruous things, I think.
Yes.
So how do you marry those two things together, right? So I think we'll talk a little bit about what are the signs, what are some of the symptoms of needing better tech?
Better technology. Yeah.
Maybe
That's
we
a
talk
good
about
way.
that. Like look at it like what are some of the like the low red flags
Low hanging
of
fruit.
yeah, of things that you should things that you can look for in your business that might indicate you need a new ERP or a
Yes.
technology upgrade.
Or some sort of
Um
inventory management technology.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable making one blanket statement right away because of the way I started off the first answer. It is not the most important thing to your early success.
Agreed.
Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
Yeah.
Because I have seen, and okay, I know you have. And this should be comfort for folks that don't have an ERP or don't, or with a company that don't, they feel like their tech is slowing them down. Maybe
Mhm.
that's true, but there's jokes about Costco's WMS. Have you ever seen it? It's like on DOS. Okay. I've been in UPS facilities
Oh,
where
yeah.
folks are still
On green
clerk,
screens.
the clerks are running notebooks.
Yeah.
The- I've seen. I mean, I'm sure you have Amazon stories,
Oh my god. Yeah. How
right?
everything, like, started on Excel spreadsheet. Yeah.
Sure. Everything turns into like a glorified spreadsheet anyway.
Yeah, it
But
does.
in terms of just process and blah blah blah. So,
You're just coming
um,
off, like, a whole week of boondoggle I think you're doing, right? Or
no,
are
not
those called
boondoggle.
sales calls
No,
still, or what is that?
we had a couple conferences, a couple of offsites. No, so I think okay. First off, we just need to understand anyone listening that it doesn't mean you don't need our ERP or an upgrade. But don't freak out, don't fret.
Yeah.
Great companies have been built
With
with
little to
people
nothing.
and
Yeah.
minds. Yeah.
And you can do
Um,
so I think the other message is so I'm always the one who's like, "Don't show me an Excel spreadsheet and tell me that's your supply chain management."
right.
But there is enough software out there that is flexible
Yeah.
and easy enough for you to plug into that you can use software that meets you where you're at. Let me put it that way. And what I see is a lot of companies running into these massive enterprise ERP systems that are designed for like the Targets and the Walmarts of the world. And they're shipping two different SKUs and, 1,000 orders a week. And they're spending a shit ton of money
Who's
for
telling them to do all that?
their consultants, the bastards.
Oh, so this is a good point. This is a good red flag one, or I don't
Yes.
know, things to look for. You should personally feel like you need it more
Yes.
than somebody else is telling you to do it.
That you need it, yes.
Yeah,
Well,
how about
let's start with a very, very basic on this. So, if you're out there and you're looking for software, you're starting out, you're being told that you have to buy the software, maybe you're talking to a 3PL that's like, "No, you have to go buy this in order to work with us." That's another big red flag. If you have to go buy something to work with someone else, be
yeah, like
afraid.
yeah.
That's a
Oh,
big
that's a
one.
great one,
But the
actually. Yeah.
first thing you have to do is you have to understand what your problem is. Okay. So many of
Yeah.
them are out there and they're like, that's how they got into this big ERP solution that they don't need anyway. So they didn't actually understand what the problem was. So one, you got to understand the problem. But two, you got to find something that meets you where you are now, right?
You do. Now that could be 9 podcasts, but yeah, like I think tell me I'm wrong, but I think you're probably thinking like, do you go right to NetSuite or do you know what I mean? Or do you buy something turnkey? Always
Something that comes with
remember that
your
somebody.
Yeah, Shopify has solutions now, like lots of the
Yeah,
platforms
a
have solutions
100%.
now.
You wanna, depending on the stage of your company, you wanna avoid, try getting super sticky with anyone. Maybe we start with the, size company. If you're just starting off or growing like a Shopify brand, and you're a team of 1 to 10, you probably don't need an ERP. You don't need an ERP most likely,
You don't.
unless you're maybe, the companies that I typically engage with that do say they need that, there's a reason. They might have $100 million in funding. They might
Yes.
have a Kim Kardashian celebrity type person behind it. Okay, there's arguments to be made. You want to go to the moon.
Massive,
You wanna go to the moon in
international,
3 months, okay,
global. Yeah,
right. But even then, like, it can slow things down.
it really can.
Um, so I think that, when you have multiple from a tech standpoint, if you have multiple users working simultaneously on the same things, you definitely probably need an ERP.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah,
Right? Or if
I
you
think
have
that's good.
yeah, if you have, like, say, 3 to 5 individuals working the same time zones, in the same database, doing the same things, such as handling customer service, team of
Yeah,
5,
yeah,
may probably need some type of system.
yeah.
If you have 5 departments that are all teams of 1,
Yes.
probably not. So it's, from a tech standpoint, I think that you wanna look at users, how many people are gonna be accessing your system, and then you wanna think about integrations, like, into your accounting software, if
Yeah,
you
that's a
have
big one.
any. If I had to put, like, years behind it, like, depending on how fast you grow, year 5,
You're
it
starting to look at a
it's
bigger
you're
realm of
starting
a
to look at custom NetSuite integrations, multiple partners. You're probably maybe with a 2nd or 3rd 3PL.
Yep.
Or you know what I mean? You're going one thing I think about in terms of integrations as it pertains to supply chain and third-party logistics is, um, I think it's a great avenue to if you're with a Barrett type 3PL in the mid-market, I think
Mhm.
it's a great advice to engage with them on advice and not necessarily pay f
A
I mean, we have
consultant.
yeah, I mean, we have we consult that's what we do.
Right, and I
And
agree with
so
you.
yeah.
And so,
We
like,
we don't have bias. You know what I mean? We don't have bias, and we do it
right.
for free. We do the consulting for free.
Yeah. You
No.
want your provider to be successful, right? Like that's the biggest part of it.
Yeah.
You want all your partners to be successful. So I agree with you on that one. You should talk to your 3PL, but back to what we said earlier, if you have a 3PL that's forcing you or shoving you into a direction that's going to cost you a lot of additional money to integrate with them, or they're telling you that you have to have this big software, you need to take a pause and ask why. Don't just assume that that is the right answer. Now, I don't think you guys do it. I think you guys have software that's available that you allow your customers
No,
to
so
use, right?
we do. So we can talk about that. I mean, and
Yeah.
most 3PLs do.
Mhm.
What we would call that is, our WMS has that OMS functionality. So
Yep.
there are functional things you can do within our systems and our web portal, or whatever, where you can edit orders, change addresses, do the basics,
Yep.
visibility in your inventory, et cetera, et cetera. So okay. So once your needs evolve beyond that,
Yes.
that's another good red flag sign of like, hey, because once you go down the ERP road, you're not really even looking at our systems.
Yes.
We're gonna API that all together,
Yeah.
and the systems are gonna talk to each other,
Yeah,
and
it'll be
you're probably,
multiples. You have your accounting
um,
system, your customer management system, your order
yep.
management system, warehouse management system will all be orchestrated at that point. But up into that point, I think that's what we want people to walk away from is use the software that's available to you through your partner.
There's so much out
There's
there.
so much out there.
I've worked with brands that are just using Shopify
Just
tools.
Shopify.
Pipe 17 has been a good partner with us to do some things, in the back end. A lot of companies that I'll talk with on the sales side that want to come, that either are looking to Barrett or want to come to Barrett, they'll say, "No, I'm with GXO and we're not on an ERP," which is fine, and we use their such and such system.
Yeah.
But I'm not immediately selling a new one to them. I'm saying, "How's it working?
Right.
Is everything
Oh,
okay?"
right.
And
Yeah.
so, okay, another, you'll love this one, I think. A third little red flag of like you probably maybe look at ERPs going into retail, omnichannel. I know you're gonna love that one. I'm gonna let you talk on that one.
You don't need it for omnichannel. I mean, it's
You don't
helpful.
think? You don't think? Well,
Well,
like so it can get very conflated. Like, what if you have 100 different retailers? Do you just use
okay,
SPS
yes. No,
Commerce?
I mean, that's why back to back. Like,
All right,
initially,
like there's Retail Ready now. Like, I know Sarah and Ellie,
retail ready,
like they're
there
awesome. SPS Commerce. So I don't know. It can get very messy.
It can get messy, especially when you start moving in drop shippers as part of that.
Okay.
Like true omnichannel
Yeah.
can get super messy. But the reason I hesitated is a
Yeah.
lot of
Let's hear it.
people are selling on Amazon and maybe selling in their little store, and they're like, "Well, I'm omnichannel." Yes, you are. They are technically omnichannel, but you still don't need. So,
Well, no, that's just the vernacular. You and I are
yeah,
not we're not disagreeing.
yeah.
I should have
But
said
no, you have
retail.
to. Yeah. So that inventory
Well,
management when you get into omnichannel. So I worked
I was
omnichannel at
gonna
Nordstrom.
say retail compliance, but then again, Amazon has compliance too. So it's not the same.
It's not the same, but
Yeah.
omnichannel is pretty complex. You do bring up an interesting point because what happens with omnichannel, hopefully, you're fulfilling with multiple channels from one inventory. So you have to keep that inventory or two inventories, web inventory and a retail inventory. So it's very hard keeping those synced. So in that situation, yeah, there are places and there are really good software out there that make that much easier to handle. When I worked to Nordstrom, I came from Amazon when I went to go Nordstrom, and the hardest thing for me to understand with omni-channel was that inventory in a store moves.
Yeah.
It's not in bin 47.
That's a
It's
good point.
in a dressing room. It's in somebody's basket. It's on a rack. It's on the wrong rack.
I
It
haven't
could be
thought about
anywhere.
that. I have not thought about that really ever.
Yeah. So when you're down to like your last pair of jeans and that size and color, like you start to
Yeah.
have to make decisions. Like, do you make that available to the customer? Because there's maybe a 50% chance you can't find it.
Well, it's usually post commercial, but you're right. There's little mini warehouses at Macy's. Yeah.
At Nordstrom, how many
Yeah.
other stores they have left
Right.
now? They're all little mini
Yeah.
warehouses. That's how they're set up
Now you
to.
still stop there. Still shop there. I go to the rack. I'm a rack person.
I'm a rack person. I'm a
I'm
rack
just joking.
person.
I got a good one for you. What about a true multi-node supply chain?
Yes, but I think in some cases you can get by using your warehouse software.
Probably.
Most established 3PLs who have multi-nodes at this point have fairly decent multi-node inventory management software and order management
It,
software.
it doesn't really matter. Yeah, to us it doesn't matter where it's just a facility ID. It doesn't really matter where it sits. What's the payload for a professional NetSuite integration?
How much does it cost?
No,
Or
the pay
just
like
over
what's the or the payback rather? What do you how do
why would you start considering
I'm just
doing
curious
this?
what you if you're on the other side, you're like, "Man, this is amazing. I'm so glad everything's connected or doing whatever." Like, is it I tend to think a lot of it is for just simple record keeping and accounting and finance. I really
Most
mean
of
that.
it is
Really believe
record
that.
keeping, accounting, finance is really what drives those things
I think so.
ultimately that
Yeah.
I would say 90% of the time that I've engaged in any sort of those implementations, it's been the finance department kinda driving it, whether it's
Yeah,
oddly
audited
or not.
financials and yep.
I mean, there does come a point where you need to start looking at what your options are, but you need to make sure that you're finding a solution that is the right size for you. And back to that actually solves your problems. Because if you don't know what your problems are, you're going to have people telling you what your problems are, and then they're going to tell you what solutions you have for the problems they think you have, and you'll never actually solve the problem you actually have. And that's what I see people coming into, and that's why I wanted us to talk about it in this meeting is that in the last 6 months, I have talked to 3 different companies who were doing business with the 3PL that was telling them that they needed something that they didn't need, and it wasn't the
Yeah.
same 3PL over and over again. One of them was a brand new 3PL that, like, seemed a little sketch to me. Another one was a very big and established organization, but used to dealing with the SAP type,
Yeah, wrong culture fit.
solution,
Yeah.
wrong culture fit, and they're like, "Oh, but to do business with us, you have to have this." And then the third one was just
Which, by the way, which
sketch.
sounds might be true. Like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? They're
yeah.
actually saying like, "Yeah, well, you need this because you can't do business with us," if you and which is
Well, that's kind of what I'm gonna be honest with you.
techni
That's basically what they were saying, and they weren't
no,
hearing
but it
it, and
technically
yeah.
might be true even. It's
Yeah.
a bad fit, right?
It
Like,
it was. It actually truly was a bad fit for them, and then once we kinda dug into it, there was a whole bunch of stuff about that 3PL that was not a good fit for them, but for them, they thought that's all that was out there. They thought that every 3PL acted like this, that this is what they're gonna have to be expected to do, and that's not true. Not all 3PLs are gonna make you go buy an SAP instance.
we're the opposite in a way. Sometimes we should be more in the middle ground. Companies will wanna be told what to do in the supply chain world of like, "This will help your company, this will help your business."
Yeah.
But we would never suggest some convoluted, complex, expensive integration just to do business with us or make things better.
Yeah.
I think if you're partners for 8, 9 years, there's a little more trust, a little more like
Right.
Hey, have we considered this? But it's certainly, and we have our reasons for it. At the beginning of the conversation, I just was thinking, there's so many companies they're successful that don't have what's being sold,
They don't have these big,
and,
massive.
and there's so many companies that aren't successful yet that just have top flight everything,
Yeah.
and that's the world of extremes that people live in sometimes, and
It's
companies are no different.
It's nuts. I know one startup I worked on, and it was finance driven. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And it's becoming hard to do. It really wasn't becoming hard to do the math, but they were like, oh, we should invest. It was going to cost 10K a month just to
Yeah,
have
go make
like,
money first,
oh yeah. And we could barely afford it. Like it was like, geez, like we only need like 2 licenses. Is it really 10K a month?
The comment before about, $10,000 a month. Yeah, whatever the dollar amount is, like, break your 3PL first, right? Like,
Yes.
have 20,000 orders a day.
Yeah.
I It's okay to not have everything prepared for it, I
Prepared
think,
immediately, yeah,
right?
and that money you spend up front, like, all that investment okay, so let's go back to some of our earlier episodes as well. 80% of all startups fail in the first 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So, if you
An
spend your
80?
first year buying shit and implementing it, like big heavy stuff, you're just wasting money.
You are.
Yeah.
You are. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, that could be the 4th one is have a huge order day. Feel like you just can't do it anymore the way you're doing it, and
S
that's usually another sign.
That it's time to up.
Yeah, the businesses aren't companies aren't gonna you're not gonna ever I remember the days of feeling like having one problem or one bad day, you're like everything's ruined. It's a you know what I mean? So I'm gonna
Calm
be
down.
careful I'm gonna be careful. Yeah. What is that Aaron Rodgers? He's like, relax. I'm still good. I'm still good at football, you know? Or like, yeah, everybody relax.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, work with the advice on finding software solutions. Don't just make the decision yourself. Don't just work with consultants. Work with your supply chain partner and their team, because
Yes.
we actually have almost no bias
Yeah.
at all, and
Yeah.
our only skin in the game is your success.
Yeah.
So remember that.
Yeah.
No matter what 3PL you're with, whoever you're partnered with, we're not getting paid. We have no, we're not going to be working in your system. We have no skin in that game.
Yep.
The only skin in the game we have is we want whatever you do to work with us well,
Yeah.
and we want you to succeed. Because if you don't grow, we don't grow.
Right. The more you ship, the more you ship. Yep. Yeah, I
So
agree with you. I think it's really solid advice. So just to recap this for everybody, if you're just starting out, you do not need a huge SRE ERP. If it feels wrong, if somebody is telling you, if you are working with a 3PL that is telling you that you must have and go buy software in order to do business with them, second red flag, right? Most 3PLs are not going to require that. Third red flag is if it's not painful, if you're not feeling it, if you're upgrading before you need it, you're investing in something you're not even going to need, or people are telling you you're going to need it for the future, another big red flag. And what was the fourth one you put?
Kim, one thing I think you'll like this. When you do decide where to go and you are spending bigger money,
Yeah,
don't worry, it can go way faster than they tell you if you're spending money. You know what I mean? So don't panic. That's like a scare tactic. Well, this is going to take 9 months.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, you get it done in 3.
yeah. You can go way faster than people tell you.
Yeah, you can. You have to have your ducks in a row, but you can go way faster than
Yep,
people tell
sorry.
you. But yeah, but no, that's a good one too. So that's kind of our advice on, technology and 3PLs. If you're out there, you're looking for 3PLs, these are things for you to keep in mind. You do not need to be working on $10,000 implementations.
I agree.
No. All right, that's us for today. Thank you very much, and we'll be back next month.
Thanks, Kim.
Thanks, Brian.